Hey, how's it going? So installment number 2 for Parker's graduation knife, Gerber Ultimate. So first video I showed some fire starting using the fire steel built in, and on this one it's going to be more of a fire prep and what the knife's good for. Now, super handy if you're getting a fire going, if you've got big logs like this and you have an axe designed for splitting. That would be ideal, but I don't keep this in my car, so toss that one. Sometimes I'll be out on hunting runs, just going out fishing in the woods, and I'll have this one covered in the car, nice double bit. Again, super handy, but that one's not always with me either. Even a feller's axe, more often I find myself carrying one like this. That could split it. Again, cool, but not an always thing. Slightly more often I've got my CRKT Woods Tomahawk. Now this one does surprisingly well for splitting other wood, but if I have it or not, I'm much more likely to have just a good knife with me. And so for fire prep, even with this one or a good hatchet, I'm finding more and more for safety that I don't like using them. Even if I've got a little guy like this, move this over a bit, and I'm trying to get nice small stuff to start a fire with. Well, I don't want to hold it when I swing, especially not when I'm looking at the camera, safety first. And so ideally it's, taking your chances. Now I'm going to give this a good whack in half. And that's not small enough to get a fire going, especially with what I showed you in the last video using the toilet paper, maybe lint or even birch bark or fine tinder. I've got to get smaller. Now the smaller I get, again, I might be timing it, catching it, driving it through, still not small enough. And you want to get a good pile. So one of my favorite things, I'll use my knife. All you need is your knife and a stick. And I just chop this one off the wood pile. And what you do, you look at the top of what you're working with, decide how much you want to take off. This has a nice crack already. I'm going to see if I can take that in half. Line up your knife, preferably on your fixed edge, but surprisingly with these it won't matter. And then with the blade sticking through and using wood, you just hammer down, and you can see as this is coming off, and you just do that over and over. This one I can even get. I would not attempt this with a hatchet, especially not the axe. With your knife you can, if the tip's not too small to hold it in place. And you can get some really fine slivers, and that's what's going to catch the best. And what's wild, here's the whole big log. I can take that and pick a spot, and I always go just an edge, taking a bit off. Like Angie'd always say with eating an elephant, you do one bite at a time. I don't try to chop this whole log in half. I'm just going through and picking some tinder-sized parts. Got a big knot there, so then I'd just peel and break it off. And that would even work, a great big log. I'm not going to be able to split this thing in half, but if I got to a campsite or a fishing spot and someone had left some wood behind, I'm just looking for something kind of skinny, sort of an edge, and really anything that sticks out, and then you just pound it through. And you might not be hammering down the whole log, but when you break off something like that, you can then take and split it. And then you're getting smaller and smaller pieces, and that lets you go. I keep another sort of handy woods mallet with me, and this one gives a little more force, a little more comfortable than a stick. And I'll actually show you how to do one of these later on. But again, a lot more precise, a little bit more force, and a lot more comfortable to use to be able to carve that right on down. And you're just hitting the other side of the knife blade, hard to see past the big log here. And then as it comes off, super skinny, making more. And I like to get a nice big pile of super small stuff, a little bit bigger pile of slightly bigger stuff, and the preparation first goes a long, long way. So taking your time to get a bunch of stuff prepped will end up being a time saver. I mean, I've had it happen, I've seen it happen. Someone tries to rush starting the fire, gets this first stuff going, and it burns out. So taking the time to get all your small stuff, and then you're ready to feed it, whatever you need to do to tend to it. You know, it takes a little bit longer, but pays off, and just being prepared. So anyway, example number 2, video number 2, making yourself some kindling to take that first skill of getting the fire started and actually having stuff that's ready to go to get a good successful fire going. So once again, we'll get some more coming at you, but hope you enjoyed and can learn something. Y'all take care.